Yes, of course, there were others who did not belong to the GOC who we believe to be saints. For example, Saint Glyceri of Romania was not officially accepted by our church until the union that we had with the Romanian church. Whenever the church deals with some type of a heresy, there's always the confusion period. And things aren't very clear. I think that we have to leave a little bit of room for a gray area. And the reality is, as I mentioned earlier on in this series of these videos, the canonicity of the Greek old counters is based on the canonicity of Rokor. And I've talked about the glorious past of Rokor and the specific place that Rokor played in the church as the light, which was a confessing Orthodox synod. So the Rokor received and accepted the Matthewites through Hierothesia. They accepted Metropolitan Callistos and Metropolitan Epiphanius of Cyprus in Boston by a prayer of Hierothesia. And the two bishops were very much for that Hierothesia. They accepted it with great joy. I was told that Metropolitan Callistos would just light up every time he talked about that, the Hierothesia that he received from Rokor. And I saw not too long ago from the archives of Rokor that Metropolitan Callistos actually had audience with the Rokor bishops in 1983. And so that's significant because Metropolitan Callistos belonged to a different synod. And he said that he would resign if he noticed that there was some type of disregard for the sister Russian Orthodox Church abroad. So since the Rokor accepted the Matthewites through Hierothesia, grace filled the jurisdiction, if you will, of the Matthewites. And perhaps this was providential because the Matthewites did have some very holy people. So we had, of course, officially we have Saint Glyceri in our Aiologion, in our list of saints. The Matthewites also had an elder Moses, and perhaps in the future I can bring up some details concerning elder Moses of Athikia. His relics are at our monastery, at the monastery of our archbishop, the residence of our archbishop. He was a Matthewite, and he was a disciple of St. Pachomius. He was a spiritual brother of St. Nectarios of Pentapolis, and he was an awesome man. There was the Fool for Christ's Sake Haralambos of Kalamata, who reposed, I think it was in 1974, and there was also the Holy Fool for Christ's Sake Tarasia, or Tarso, who reposed in 1989. There's a book written about the Holy Fool for Christ's Sake Haralambos by the Skeet in Kalamata of Panavolaki. And there are two lives of the Fool for Christ's Sake Tarso. One was written by a New Counter theologian, Kornarakis. I met Kornarakis many years ago, and I've met a number of other people who had the blessing of meeting and seeing the righteous Tarso. But there's another life that was written by someone who belonged to our church. He was a Matthewite, and he came to us. I think he went back to the Matthewites. I'm not sure exactly where he is right now. The life which Kornarakis wrote, I think, was not exactly truthful. As I mentioned in one of the previous videos, sometimes people claim our saints to be their saints, and twist the reality of the situation. Perhaps in time, God willing, we'll be able to translate the life of the Holy Fool for Christ's Sake Tarso as well at some point. In any case, not long after her repose, things for the Matthewites really went downhill. I think they started rejecting the Hierothesia of the Rokor, and so that's very problematic. But whenever the church is dealing with difficult circumstances, and whenever you see a union and a healing of schisms, these things are discussed. And unfortunately, at this point, there is no real healing of any schism with the Matthewites, but I don't even see how that would be possible. So, that, so that's that. There are many saints.